So for today's homework, it's going to be we're going to go to hardest learning, which is this guy, and make sure that you go to the summarizing category of the data. The order might be different, okay? So right now I'm going to go over fruit choice. I'm going to do that one right now in the recording, okay? You have to do for homework class pets. So class pets will be for homework. Greta's garden, I'm going to take care of that one. Sour candies, I'll take care of that one. Playing cards, you will do it by yourself. Coins, I'll take care of that one. Raven's clothes, you'll take care of that one. That's for homework. Instrument groups in Jackson Middle School, you have that one for homework. In Washington Middle School, I will take care of that one. Favorite sport, that's your homework. Favorite sport with football and basketball, that's for homework. And it's the same one or what? Okay, one of them is Isabel and the other one is Ryan. Okay, so you'll take care of both of those. Favorite sports, both items. Um, the woodwind instruments, that's for homework also. Voting results, I'll take care of that one. Voting results at Lozano Middle School, and we have voting results out at O'Banion. I'll take care of one, you take care of the other. So let me go ahead and start. So I'll start with item number one. So in item number one, we have three choices. The yellow part is banana, the red is the apple, and the orange is the orange. This is a percentage bar graph, and my first job is to quickly get these percentages on my paper. Okay, so I'm gonna split the screen for you all. And let me begin. So if you notice, I'm going to start from the bottom up. So we have orange. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the percent from 0. So it's going to be 0, 10, 20. So I know that the percent for orange will be 20%. I'm going to put that 20%. Then from apple, well, from here to here, that would be another 10%. From this point to this point, that would be another 10%. That would be 20 now. And from this point to this point, that would be 30. So the apple has 30%. So I'm going to go ahead and write apple. %30. Finally, we have the banana starting from the point at 50. So this is kind of like it becomes your new 0% because we just want this part. So from here to here, that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So now I know that the banana will have 50%. So banana. So all I did is I looked at my percentage bar graph and I pulled out the information. Now they want to know which represents this percentage bar graph is represented by the table. So here's my first table. So I'm going to put choice A, and I'm going to look at some stuff. I noticed that my orange is 20%. So the lowest number of students should be in the orange since the percentage has the lowest. So if I notice it has 2, 20% is the lowest. That kind of matches, right? Apple, 30%. That's the medium, right? and then we have 50%, 10. So letter A right now at this moment looks like a good table. Why? Because the orange has the less percent, so the orange should have the less students. The banana has the greatest percent, so the banana should have the greatest students. That's why A looks like a good choice. But I'm not sure yet. I'm just checking. Letter B. Letter B, I could already tell that B is not going to be a good choice. So I'm going to say, you know what, B? B is not a good choice, and I'll tell you why. Orange and banana have the same equal amount of students. And if we look at a percent, the orange and the apple, I said banana, right? The orange and the apple have the same amount of students, which is 5 and 5. The orange and the apple have different percentages. So if they really had the same amount of students, they should have the same amount of percent. So that's why letter B is already one of our dumb ones. Okay? Because if my quantities are the same, 5, 5, my percents should be the same. Letter C. We have the orange being the lesser number of students, which is the lesser percent. That's good. We have the banana being the greatest number of students, that shows banana, and we have the greatest amount, which is 50%. So letter C, I'm going to leave it as a maybe at this moment. So letter C, it will stay as a maybe also. Letter D. Letter D says that orange has 0 students. Well, anytime that you have a 0, think of a grade. If I get a 0, I will have a 0%. In our percentages, there's no 0%. That's why letter D is not good at all. Okay? It's between A and C. So I'm going to go back to my A. And since they want me to get percentages, if you notice all my percentages are here, I'm going to create a fraction so I can change it to a decimal percent. So how do I create a fraction? Well, you first decide what you're going to choose. I have decided to choose the orange. Okay? So the orange will be 2 out of. Now the bottom part is your total, not from the percentage, your total from your table, because we're checking that we're making a fraction out of the table to match to the percentages. So it's 10 plus 5 would be 15, plus 2 would be 17. So this guy would be 2 out of 17. So I have my fraction for the A. I'm going to do the same thing with the D. I mean with the C, because the C is a good one, right? This one says 4 is the orange. So I'm going to stick to orange. So right now we're checking the orange. Okay. The orange has 4. And then I'm going to add them. 10 plus 6 is 16 plus 4 is 20. So this will be 4 out of 20. Okay. Since we're checking orange, we're trying to get to 20%. So I'm going to have to change this guy to decimal and this one to decimal. You will go to the side and bottom out, or go to the side over here. So I'm going to start with the letter A. So 2 divided by 17. I don't have enough. I add a 0. 20, I do have enough. 17 times 1 would be 17. 20 minus 17 will be 3. I add a 0. So we times 1 again. So I could already tell that this is not going to be a good choice. 0.11 would not give me to 20%. Okay? So it's probably going to be C. But what am I going to do? I'm going to check. Bottom out this guy now. 4 divided by 20. Put your decimal there. Is 4 enough? No, it's not. Is 40 enough? Yes, it is. 20 times what? Okay, 20 times 2 would be 40. So this guy would be 0.2 Now I'm gonna switch to percent because that looks pretty good. Because what can I do here? I can add a zero to make it like money. To switch to percent, we're gonna go 1, 2 to the right. That switches to percent. That would be 20%. That checks off. It matches. That's why the answer in this case would be letter C. Now your answer choice might be different. So my answer choice for letter C has 4 in orange. So I can actually come and put that here also, guys. So 4 is in orange. I'm matching it to my table. 6 was apple and 10 was banana. So the table that has this data, 4, 6, 10, is the correct one. Okay. So I would obviously choose, in my case, letter C. In your case, please look at the table to make sure that it matches the same because your answer choices might be scrambled. Okay. Next, class pets. As I mentioned in class pets is for homework. Okay. So the way I did this one, that's the way you're gonna do that one. Okay. So you're gonna first figure out the percents of the hamster, turtle, fish, and then check which one matches. Try to eliminate the dumb ones, and then of course, once you find the good ones, create a fraction out of the table. Whomever you decide to use, if you decide to use the hamster, so 6 is gonna go on top. That bottom is always your total amount of the table, and then you just change fraction to decimal to percent, and you should be able to find the answer. So that this one is for homework. The one with a hamster, turtle, and fish, class pet choice. That's your first homework. Next, Greta's garden. I'm going to do that one. So Greta's garden. Draw a line right here, and I'm not numbering them because your numbers might be different than mine. I don't want to confuse you. I'm just labeling the title of the bar graph or the title of the table, depending what they give me. Greta's garden. My first job is to figure out that percent bar graph, right? So we have carrots to get the percent. So I'm gonna go over here and say, okay, starting from zero, we have 10, 20. So that one's an easy one. It's gonna be 20%. Then we have tomatoes. Same thing, starting from this point, from this to this point, that would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 40%. Finally, we have peppers. Same thing, starting from this point, from here where you stopped, 10, 20, 30, 40, 40% also. And that would be peppers. Always check that your total is 100%, 40 and 40, that's 80 plus 20, that's 100%, so that's good. Now I'm going to start matching. So if you notice, we have two that are equal. Tomatoes and peppers have the same amount of percentage. So we should have in our table two that are equal. If you notice, tomatoes and peppers are equal, that's good. Letter A, I'm going to leave as a maybe. So I'm going to put my choices here. A, that's a maybe right now. B, tomatoes and peppers are equal. So B is a good one too. So B will be a good one also. Letter C, none of them are equal. None of them are equal. That's why letter C is dumb. Tomatoes and peppers should be equal, and they happen. One has 100, the other one has 60. That would not be possible because they have the same amount of percentages. It's the same percent wise. So letter C, that's not a good one. D, they're equal. Okay, so we have three good ones this time. Okay. Now your next job is to go ahead and start changing fractions to decimals. So we're gonna start with A. What I would suggest you do, you choose the one that is not equal, because that's what's gonna be the determining factor of which one is the answer. So I'm gonna go with A. So I'm gonna go with carrots. So we're checking carrots, okay? This is what we're checking. We're checking carrots. So I'm going to create a, from the table A, I'm going to create a fraction. So the fraction is going to be 40. Why 40? Because we're checking carrots. And in the table, carrots is 40. 40 out of, I need to add them all up. 60 and 60 would be 120 plus 40 would be 160. And you can do that math on the side. I'm doing it mentally right now for the sake of time. Let me do my letter B also, the fraction. So we have here 20 carrots, so that will be on the top. And we're going to add 60 and 60, that would be 120 plus 20, that would be 140. So this guy would be 140. Letter D, 40 would be on the top, so we're checking carrots. The bottom is always your total, so 80 and 80 would be 60 plus 40, that would be 200. So I have created my fractions. Now I'm going to change them to decimal, but I noticed that we have trailing zeros. So I know that this zero can cancel this zero. So now my new fraction becomes 4 out of 16. This zero can cancel this zero. My new fraction becomes 2 out of 14. This zero can cancel this zero, so my new fraction becomes 4 out of 20. Now I'm trying to get to 20%, okay? So I'm going to bottom out the first one. 4 divided by 16. Is 4 enough? No. Is 40 enough? Yes. So I can kind of guess and check on the side. 16 times 4 can give me close to 40. If I do 3, it'll be over. It'll go to 48. So it has to be 2. So you have to go do some times tables on the side, guys. So it's going to be 2. That'll be 32. This guy becomes 8 because this becomes 10. Drop a 0. We have 80 now. So I'm going to go to the side again and I'm going to take a guess. 16 times what can we guess? Well, 3 was 48. Well, let's try 5. And voila, exactly the same. So now I know that the first fraction is equivalent to 0.25, and that would not be 25%. This is 20%, so I know that letter A is not the answer. Now I have a between B and D. Let's be smart about this also, and not like let's work smarter, not harder, right? So I noticed that 20 and 14. I'm gonna go with 20. I probably can divide that faster. So let me go bottom out that 4 out of 20. So 4 divided by 20. Remember that the bottom is going to stay out. Okay, 4, is that enough? No, it's not. Add a 0. 40, is that enough? Yes, it is, times 2. So now I know that this decimal just became 0.2. I will add a 0 because I like money, and guess what? That's the 20%. So now I know that the answer is D. There's no need for me to do this one anymore. Now, if you have time in the store, you have a lot of time. Pues yeah, bottom up. Okay, so that's how you do this one again. Real simple. You first get your percentage bar. From your percentage bar graph, you get your percentages. You eliminate the dumb ones, and then the rest we have to create a fraction. Bottom out, change to decimals, and of course to change the percentage twice to the right. So I could always go 1, 2, and that would be 20%. The decimal will be at the end. Okay. So don't forget that once you find your answer, I would put the table that you're choosing. Like in my case, I'm choosing D. So the carrots, the number should have been 40. So I'm just copying whatever the table has next to carrots. 40. 80 is tomatoes. And peppers is 80 also. So this is the table that I'm choosing, which is in my case letter D. And if you notice, you see that 40%, that's why it's the same 40%. That's why it's the same 80, 80. Okay. And think about it. 40%, 20% is half of 40. And look who's half of 80, 40. So it really matches your percents, match your quantities. Okay. So that's how you do that one with Greta's garden. So in my case, it's D. In your case, please be careful and look at the table that it matches this 40, 80, 80. This one is about sour candies. I will do that one with you also. This one they gave us tallies. Okay. So I'm gonna write here sour candies. Okay. Now they have tally marks. When you have 1, 2, 3, 4 in a slash, you're counting by fives. So we have 5, 10, 12. So red would be 12. So I'm gonna go red, 12. Blue would be 4. So I'm gonna get blue, 4. Green would be 5 plus 3, that would be 8. So green, 8. Yellow would be 6. Yellow, 6. Orange would be 10. So orange, 10. This time they give me the quantities on the table. And I'm going to try for you to find the percentages. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go with the array. And we see if we can get rid of some. So what I like to do here is I like to say, okay, which is the least quantity? In our case, the least quantity is blue. Since blue is the least quantity with 4, blue should be the least quantity in percent-wise in the table. So let me check blue. If you notice here, blue, 10% is the least. So that's a good table. Letter B, 16%. It is not the least because we have red being the least. That's why I know that table B is already wrong. So table B will be incorrect. Why? Because blue has the least quantity, so blue should have the least percent, and it doesn't. It's red. That's why it's not a good table. This table does not correspond to this data. Letter C. Does blue have the least quantity? Yes, it does. Letter D. Does blue have the least quantity? Yes, it does. So far C and D are also good. Now, the other thing you can check, we already got rid of B. The other thing we need to check is together all of them, since we were talking about percent is always out of 100. So let me see if this gives me 100%. 30 plus 10 would be 40, plus 20 would be 50, plus 15 would be 65, and plus 25, let me show you I did that right. 30 and 10 is 40, and 20 is 50, and 25 would be 75, and 10 more here is 85, and 5 is 90. So obviously it's not correct. I'm gonna check with a calculator just in case, because sometimes our mental math becomes not very mental. So I'm just gonna add my percentages, and they should always equal to 100% since we're talking about percentages here. So my mental math was not that good. See, that's why we always want to check. That's why we don't want to do mental math. I would use the paper and add them up. 30 plus 10 would be 40, plus 20 is 60. So that's where I messed up. I said 50. 60 plus 15 is 75, and 75 plus 25 is 100. So table A is good after all because it does equal 100%. Let's go now to table C. B was already gone. We already got rid of it. Table C. I'm going to check if it gives me 100%. And here's how you check. Instead of doing mental math, you just saw me like mess up. Okay, so I'm going to get all my percentages: 22, 14, 16, 18, 30. And I'm going to add them up. and they better give me 100% because we're working with percent. Percent means about 100. Well, 6 and 4 right here is 10, right? 6 plus 4 is 10. And 8 plus 2 is also 10, right? 8 plus 2 is also 10. So 10 and 10 would be 20. So I know this is going to regroup. 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 1, 5, 6, 7, plus 3, 10. So guess what? Table C also gave me 100%, so table C is a good one also. Finally, we're going to go to letter D. I think this one I can hopefully handle it mentally. So here we go. 6 plus 4 would be 10. And then 10 and 10 would be 20. And then 20 plus 12 would be 32. Plus the 8 would be 40. Table D is wrong. Why is table D wrong? Because it does not give me 100%. You can check with a calculator. So we have here 12 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 10, 40%. Percent means out of 100. The whole table should equal 100%. So that's why I got rid of D. So it's between A and C. Now I have to again choose which one am I going to use to create a fraction, decimal percent, as we did previously. So I'm going to decide to use blue. Okay, you could use whichever you want. You could have used orange. I'm choosing blue for the letter A, and obviously for letter C, I'm still going to stick to blue. So I'm going to start with letter A and create my fraction. So letter A, here's the number. So I'm going to say, okay, you are 4 out of, I need to add them up. Okay, because we're doing the fraction out of the quantity, the data that they gave us. So 12 plus 4 will be 16, plus 8 is 24, plus 6 is 30, and then it's 40. So 4 out of 40. So for table A, the blue from my data is 4 out of 40. Okay. For table C, since we're using the same data, it still will be 4 out of 40. Just so you know, because we're using this data. One of these will be equal to the right table percentage-wise. So let's bottom out. 4 divided by 40, decimal, decimal. Not enough, add a 0, times 1 will be 40. Now I know that this is equal to 0.1. I like to add a 0 like money, that will give me 10%. This is 0.1. Now if you don't add a 0, you can still catch it this way. 1, 2 to the right, you have a space there that you need to fill up a 0, so you still get the 10%. So now the answer A for blue, there's your 10%. The answer C for blue, they have 14. And that's what makes letter C wrong. Because according to our fraction decimal percent, the blue, which is 4 out of the 40, should have been 10%. So the only one that gives you 10% in blue is letter A. So in my case, the answer is letter A. Now it's important again to transfer the stuff here. So red, since I'm choosing letter A, table A, I'm going to say red was 30%, blue was 10%. I'm just copying from the table. Green was 20%, yellow was 15%, orange was 25%. So this is from the table that I chose, which is letter A. Okay, so I would choose letter A and go to the next one. Okay, playing cards. The way I've been doing these, playing cards is the other one that you have to do by yourself. Okay, you're gonna get all your data first, and then eliminate the dumb ones, and then of course, one of them you have to create a fraction, decimal percent, to see which is the right table that matches yours. So this is another one that's for homework, the playing cards. That will be the second one for homework. This one is called coins. So I'm going to do coins. So in case you're not sure how to do the playing cards, I'm going to do coins right now and show you how easy it is. So coins. I'm going to draw a line again. And here we go with coins. On my table coins, we have the dime. And we're tallying. That's what I call tally marks. That's 5, 10 plus 4 would be 14. We have pennies. And that would be 5, 10, 15, 16. I believe it's 16. Yeah, 16. Nickels. 5 plus 2 would be 7. And by the way, these are not percentages. They're the coins. The number of coins is just quantities. It's just data that we collected. The quarter. The quarter is 5, 10 plus 3 would be 13. Again, these are not percentages. These are quantities. From here we make fractions, and then we can create decimals and percents. Okay, so these are not your percentages. Your percentages are actually your choice. That's why it says which table do the percentages represent the relative frequency of the coins. This is the relative frequency. How many times did they occur? And percent wise, we're gonna figure out that right now. Okay, so we'll start with letter A. Nickel. Nickel should be the least, and guess what? Nickel is the least. So that's good for letter A. Letter B, nickel should be the least, and again, nickel is the least. Letter C, nickel should be the least, and it is again. Letter D, nickel should be the least, and guess what? Nickel is not the least, dime is the least. And according to our table, nickel should have the least percent because he has the least quantity. So that's why letter D is already out. So for sure, I was not able to get rid of A. I was not able to get rid of B. I was not able to get rid of C, but for sure D is out. Why? Because if nickel has the less quantity of coins, then nickel should have the less percent, and it doesn't. Okay? It does not have the less percent. Now, the other thing that I like to do before I continue is I'm going to check the greatest one. According to this, penny is the greatest, so guess what? The highest percent should be penny. Is penny the highest percent here? Well, it's not. So now I got rid of C2. Because penny has the highest quantity, which means that it should have the highest percent, and it doesn't. Okay? B. Does penny have the highest percent? Yes, it does. So B is good. C. Does penny have the highest percent? Yes, it does. So it's between A and B. At least we got rid of 2. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, again, I'm going to choose whichever you want. In my case, I'm going to go with nickel. Okay? You could choose whichever you want. So I'm going to go with nickel. I'm going to check this guy. Este es el que voy a checar. And we're going to create a fraction. So on the top is nickel. On the bottom is the total. So we need to add everything again. So 6 plus 4 would be 10. And 7 and 3 would be another 10. That's 20. So 20. I regroup. 1 plus 1, 2 plus 1, 3 plus 2, 5. So this guy would be 50. So 7 out of 50. Now letter B. Well, if this one was 7 out of 50, guess what letter B is going to be? It's también 7 out of 50 because we're using this data for the choices. Now I'm going to show you a little trick here. Anytime that you have 50 on the bottom, instead of doing bottom out, since percent means out of 100, listen. Anytime you have a 50 on the bottom, instead of doing bottom out, since percent is out of 100, I could do this because 50 times 2 gives me 100. What you do to the bottom, you can do to the top. So 1400, well, that would be 14% because percent means out of 100. The next one, I have a 50 on the bottom. When you have a 50 on the bottom, instead of doing bottom out, I can do this times 2 times 2. It should be the same thing because we're using the same data, 14%. So if you would bottom out this, which means to divide, you still will get the same thing I did. Okay, I'm just trying to show you a little trick here that if I have a 50 in my denominator, I can just double it to get to 100 because percent instead of 100, and I will still get the percent fast. Now, if you decide to divide 7 divided by 50, you will see that I still get the same thing. See that 0.14? That would be 1, 2 to the right, which is still the 14% that we got. Okay, so let's check what table has nickel at 14%. Table A has nickel at 12%. Table B has nickel at 14%. So guess who wins? Table B. So in my case, the answer is B. So I will select B. But in your case, it depends on your choices. If they're randomized differently, well, be careful. So I'm going to put the stuff here. The table that I selected was the one that has 28% for the dime. For the penny, it has 32%. For the nickel, it has 14%. For the quarter, it has 26%. That's the table I chose. So this is the table and this is the data and this is my work proving why I chose letter B. Okay, because letter B, the nickel had 14%, which is right there. The next one is about Raven's clothes. Well, guess what? Raven's clothes, you have to take care of it. That is for homework. So when you get to that problem, Raven's clothes, you have to do what I've been doing with all my problems. Okay. So you will have to get the quantity first, then check what percentages are done. Remember that the percentages have to equal to 100. That's another way you can check and get rid of some. If they don't equal 100%, you know you're wrong. Wrong table. So the next one is called instrument groups right there of Jackson Middle School. That one is your homework. Instrument groups, Jackson Middle School. That will be your homework. Okay. Which is these. These are a little bit sometimes tricky, but right now I'm going to help you because the next one is also instrument groups, but this time it's about Washington Middle School. So I'll be working with those right now with you so you can see how easy these are also. So I'm going to draw a line and I'm going to start with my title of the instrument because the questions are not the same number. So that's why I'm putting the title of the table. Instrument groups. The first instrument is the woodwind. And the woodwind has 24. The next instrument is a percussion, which has 18. The next instrument is a brass, which also has 18. So these are my instruments. Now I'm going to look at my percent bar graph. Letter A. So here's my woodwind for letter A. And I'm going to go from here to here. That would be 10. From here to here, that would be 20. But then there's a little gap there. It's not really in the middle, so I cannot call it 25. Many kids are thinking 10, 25, but that's not really in the middle of the 20 and 30. You see, between 20 and 30, that's 10%. Half of it would be the 5%, but this is not actually half of it. So it's going to be 10, 20, and about maybe 2, maybe 3. Okay. So we're going to have to kind of like estimate. So we're going to say, you know what, it's about 23%. Hopefully 23%. So this would be the woodwind. Now I'm going to check percussion. So for sure, since I already took away 3% from here, this part has to be 7 because between both of them together have to equal to 10%. From this point to this point is 10%. Since I call this guy 3%, this other part has to be 7%. So I like to count the for sure. This is 10, 20, 30, and then the 7 that I was talking about right now in a moment. So it's going to be, again, let me do it again. 10, 20, 30, 7. And then we have only one little spot there. I think it's about 1% right there in between there. So let me do it again. 10, 20, 30, 7. And then that little spot right there, 38. So the middle part, which is the percussion, that would be 38%. I'm just going to abbreviate it as perk. Finally, we go to the brass. Again, I'm going to go with it for sure. So we have here 10, 20, 30, and this is not a for sure because we took away 1. So let me do it. 10, 20, 10, 20, 30, and I took away 1, so 39. Not the whole 40 because we took away 1%. So the last one would be 39%. And that would be the brass. Okay. So I can check here. Woodwind, is that the greatest? Yes. Is woodwind the greatest here? No. That's why letter A is already out. See, woodwind is the greatest quantity, but yet in my percentage, percussion was the greatest. So that's why it's a dumb one. Letter B, do the same thing. Start at 0, 10, 20, 30, and it's still not exactly at 5. So don't say 35 because 5 would be smack in the middle of the 30 and 40 would be here 35. So let me do it again. 10, 20, 30. I think it's about 32, right? 32, 33 maybe. Okay. I think it's about 32. I'm going to go with 32 this time. So it'll be 32%. And I'm going to just put a W this time for woodwind. Now percussion. Again, go for the for sure. So this guy for sure is 10, 20, and since I took away here 2, this has to be 8. So 10, 20, 8. And this one is a little bit over the half again. You notice there? Okay. So 10, 20, 8, and this is about 8 also. So that would be 36. 36% would be the percussion. Again, so in case you're wondering, like, how is he figuring out, like, what's the spots? I'm gonna go right now with that, so you can see what I'm trying to teach you. So the reason, look, I gave this piece a 2. That means that from here to here was 10, but since I gave him 2, this piece now becomes 8. This is a whole 10. This is a whole 10. So 10 plus 10 is 20, and the 8 would be 28. Now this piece, the whole thing would be 10. I could already tell this is about 2 also, so I'm going to give them 8 again over here on this side. So it's going to be 10, 20, 8, plus the other 8 over here, that would be 36%. That's where I'm getting that, 36%. Okay. Finally, we're going to go with brass. Put a B there. Y I'm going to count the reversa, right? I'm going to count from here. 10, 20, 30. Now we just gave this guy 8. So I need 2 more to make the 10. So it's going to be 10, 20, 30, 2. Okay. So now woodwind should have the greatest. And guess what? Woodwind does not have the greatest. We should have 2 that are equal, but it should be percussion and brass. And right here, percussion and brass are equal. So B for sure is not a good one. So B, the greatest one is percussion, And over here, the greatest one is woodwind, so that's one reason is wrong. And then the ones that should be equal is percussion and brass. And right now, that the ones that are equal is woodwind and brass. So A and B, they're pretty dumb. Letter C. Again, for letter C, let me make it bigger. Let me see if I can do something that might help you all. No. Okay. So letter C. Same thing. I'm gonna start with woodwind. Let me split it again. Sorry. So here we go. So starting from here, letter C. 10, 20, 30. Oh, that's easy. When they're so nice like that, everything's falling into the right place. 30%. That's the W for woodwind. Thank you, woodwind, for being so nice to us. Percussion. 10, 20, 30. Oh, wow. Percussion gets 30% also. So nice again. Brass. 10, 20, 30, 40. Beautiful. So brass will get 40% also. So now let me see if it matches my data. So woodwind and percussion are equal in my percent, but woodwind and percussion should not be equal. Okay? As a matter of fact, woodwind should be the greatest one, and brass right now is the greatest one. So guess what? Letter C is wrong also. So guess what the answer has to be? D. Of course, a good student is going to prove why D is the answer, so let's go check it out. Woodwind, 10, 20, 30, 40. So woodwind gets 40. Percussion, 10, 20, 30. Put a P there for percussion. Brass, 10, 20, 30. Again, check if it equals 100%. Since I'm choosing D, I'm going to check everything. 40 plus 30, 70 plus 30, 100. So it is 100%. Let's see if this matches. The greatest one was woodwind. The greatest one was woodwind. The ones that are equal are percussion and brass. The ones that are equal are percussion and brass. I feel very comfortable. The answer is D. Okay. So woodwind should have had the 40%. So we can put it here. So we can know what bar graph to choose, what percent bar graph to choose. And of course, percussion and brass should have the 30-30. Okay. Now you could also have done the bottom out. You could have just gone 18, add them all up, divide numerator divide by the denominator, and it should match these. Okay, but there's no need. We already got rid of the other ones by using uh, reasoning skills, and that's why the answer is D. So I can choose D. For yours, of course, your answer might not be D, so please pay attention to this 40, 30, 30. 40 woodwind, percussion 30, and 30 brass. You can go look for your book. Because what I'm trying to say is some of you have letter D and A, and some of you have letter D and B, so be careful when you're selecting the answer because I randomize the choices. Okay, so mine is D. Yours might be another one. And this one was called the instrument groups, but I did the instrument groups of Washington Middle School. You have to do the instrument groups um, of Jackson Middle School. Okay. Next, next we have our favorite sport. Okay, the favorite sport for Isabel. I want you to do the favorite sport for Isabel, and I also want you to do the favorite sport for Ryan. Okay. So this one, I want you to do two of favorite sports. One is going to be called Ryan, and the other one is for Isabel. So just so you know, so far you have the class pets. That's one one question. Playing cards, that would be two questions. Ravens clothes, that would be three. Instrumental groups from Jacksonville School, that's four. Favorite sport, you have Ryan and Isabel, five, six. And woodwind instruments, that would be seven. And that would be your homework for today. Okay? So this one is for homework. The woodwind instruments for Mikey's music, that's for homework. Voting results, we're going to continue that tomorrow. So once you get to these, that's it, we're done. Okay, so we're going to do voting results tomorrow. We have another voting results from Lozano Middle School. The other one was from um, O'Banion Middle School, but those are for tomorrow. So do not panic with those. Okay. The emojis, we're going to take care of that tomorrow also. So don't worry about the emojis. And then we have the last question will be this one. In my case, oh no, we have another emoji. So I'll take care of probably tomorrow one emoji, you'll take care of the other one. And then we have this one that has a double question based on data. And that's it. So right now your homework again is going to be, and I believe that once that you can pause it and then just leave it paused and that's it. Your homework right now is going to be again the one that's called class pets, playing cards, Raven clothes, instrumental groups of Jacksonville School, favorite sport for Ryan, that's one question, favorite sport for Isabel, that's another question, and one with instruments. Of course, all the ones that we already did, make sure you select the right answers by selecting the right table or the right percent bar graph. And I labeled them all. Sour candies, that was the answer. Mine was A, but yours might be different. The coins, same thing. Here's the percent. My answer was B, but yours might be different, so look at that. Instrumental groups, that's what I got. And of course, we also did um, Greta's Garden. Here was the answer. And I also did the favorite fruits, right? So with you, I did one, two questions, three, four, five questions. We did five already. And you will have for homework 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, Ryan, 11, Isabel, and 12. And then we'll do the other six tomorrow when we get here. Hopefully the video helps you. If you need help, just send me a message through the Google Classroom and I'll try to help you more.